Okay, so the first thing that we need to do is to test the waters. More specifically, we want to understand how Linux works, so without direct nuking our whole Windows system. So for this purpose, I have set up. I'm obviously on the Linux machine, but to give you an idea of how you can test Linux without actually changing anything in your Windows system or changing much in your Windows system, I'm trying out a virtual machine inside which I'm running Windows. So this is a regular Windows installation. Yes, I've just done some basic customizations like this auto hide and remove the unnecessary application shortcuts, and install Visual Studio Code just to I have not done anything here. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's start. So the what we need to do is we need to run the terminal as an administrator. The uh, first time we might need to do it in administrator mode. Yeah. So Windows has this thing called Windows subsystem for Linux, which basically you can think of it as Linux being contained in a part of Windows. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best way to describe it. But yeah, for now, you can also think of it like emulating Linux inside Windows, although it's a bit much more faster than actual emulation or using a virtual machine. Yeah, so yeah, let's start. So the first thing that we need to do is WSL install. The first thing we need to do is WSL install. This will set up everything for us. Now, of course, this is not directly present in the system, so you will need the internet connection for this. It will download, I don't know, it will download some amount of data, I think, for the subsystem part, and then an actual Linux distribution. It actually pulls in, I think by default, it pulls in Ubuntu, uh, but you can change that, of course. It doesn't show us what's the size of this download, but I guess it should be around like one, I don't know. See. So this is an easier way to test out how Linux feels without actually installing Linux on your system. I mean, what good is it to you? Yeah, so it's downloading Ubuntu by default. For our case, it doesn't matter. You can if you don't like, you can you can install anything actually. But since this Ubuntu is the default, we'll go with it. The distribution doesn't matter. All we need is the Linux just to get familiar with the ways of Linux. So in our case, whether it's Ubuntu or Fedora or Arch Linux or but whether it's Ubuntu, Arch Linux, Fedora, or whatever is it, we don't really care at this point of time. We just need Linux and that's it. Downloading Ubuntu, installing Ubuntu. Depending on your internet connectivity, this might take a while. This is successfully installed. It can be launched via WSL.exe -v Ubuntu. This is what we need to run in future. We don't need to do all this again every time. So this is the first time we're installing it. So that's why it's taking this much time. Yes, the virtualization is not supported on this machine. This makes sense because I'm running this already in a virtual machine. I'm running Windows inside a virtual machine, and then from inside Windows, I'm using WSL, which is again a similar virtualization technology. Create a default Unix user. Okay, so now let's say default user. Okay, now if you are not familiar with Unix style of password, you might notice there is nothing being typed here, but rest assured everything is being recorded. So even if you don't see letters being typed, rest assured this is actually getting recorded. So all you need to do is make sure you type the same password again, both for both times, and then hit enter. Would you like to opt in for platform metrics collection? Yeah, Ubuntu. Don't use Ubuntu in real life, bro. For now, okay, metrics collection. No, 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 no. Why is like that? Okay. So requires of Windows. Yes. So now that we are like in that, this is called the prompt. Uh, so let me show you another terminal to show you what Canary looks like. So this is the PowerShell prompt. So it says PS and then where we are currently at in terminal, and this is called the prompt. This obviously this is the startup message of the shell, which is PowerShell, and here we are inside the Ubuntu in WSL, and this is our prompt. So this is the username. Windows is the name of the system. I can actually verify this with you know how to check maybe properties, right? I think if I remember correctly, this is where we see the system details. Yeah. So I've named this PC Windows. What? Yes. Windows isn't activated. I'm not going to activate this Windows because I'm not going to use this for long. All I need is the demo. Mm, 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 mm. So Windows is the system PC name, and this is the path we are currently at. We'll come to this part, but now let's type in clear. This actually clears the screen, and then type this one. Of course, you can type in Control plus L, which also does the same thing. Yeah. So there are some helpful things which have already been set up in this machine, in this WSL setup. So for example, if you want to see what's in this directory, the folder, so if you type in ls, you'll see all this. So you have app data, network, OneDrive, pictures. You might notice this doesn't really look, this actually looks similar to what a Windows machine would look like. So, and you would be correct because this is actually pointing to our this home directory. Why is this being shown like this one? This is okay. Maybe we can go this way. See users, this users, and it was observed. This was observed. This is what is being shown. Okay. Yes. So as you can see ls again, you will see this is the same things that is being shown here. So we are basically running Linux inside of Windows, and then your Windows C drive is, you can say, mapped to this path inside this mnt slash c. This is where all the whole C drive is mounted, or in more generic simpler terms, it is you can think of it as a map. So anything you change here would be would actually affect both ways. So it's let's say if we create a new file, let's say text document test.txt, and then if you type in ls, you'd see there should be a test.txt. Okay. So this is because the .txt is part of the extension view the file name extensions. Okay, so if we do this, we don't need this one. Test.txt, and unless we'll see test.txt now. And yeah, with this, we're basically, and obviously something like if we say hello and we add it to test.txt, this is basically me saying, okay, use the word hello and add write it to test.txt. If we do this and then open this up with uh, txt, we see hello spring there. Yeah. So basically you can create anything and it would be affected here, or you can create anything or modify anything here, and you can see everything real time in this thing from Linux as well. So this actually helps us work on the same projects or same files from both the systems, whether it is Linux or Windows. This thing actually helps. Now, well, let's start by deleting this test.txt, for which the command is rm test.txt. Rm stands for remove, remove test.txt, and if we remove this, you see it disappears from here also. Okay. Now before we dive in further, let's let me tell you something which might trip people up. So there is no recycle bin when you delete from this thing from the Linux command, Linux terminal. So if you go and check the actually this if you see recycle bin, it is actually empty. Anything you delete will be deleted totally. I mean with the, so make sure you use this command with caution. Now, since everything is there, let's go to documents maybe. We have, let's say, actually, let's keep it this way and open up documents. For this thing, we have created this directory, testing directory. For now, let's delete it. Hit delete, and let's say we had a directory. Okay, this is now an empty documents folder. Let's say we were working on something, let's say programming, and inside programming we had a simple program for, say, hello world. It's a simple program for hello world, and let's open this with VS Code. That's how you'd normally use this, like possibly. Open folder, documents, programming hello world, and we have don't Okay. Hmm. Now if we create a new file, let's say and save it as C, and let's see, hello world, and let's say, okay, so we have this uh, file being there. Let's say this, let's assume for now that this is our whole project that we are working on from Windows, and now we need to use the same project from this one, from Linux. So we go to documents. So let's look at the basics of the file system, how we move around the file system. So contrast this with this one. Windows we are familiar with. If you want to go to documents, we click here, then we go to programming, then to hello world, and then we if you want to see what's inside, we maybe open with this is VS Code, or if we want to open, we can choose another app and say okay, we want to use Notepad, and this should basically show us the whole file. The same thing if you want to do it here to this cd document. So we basically went inside the documents folder here. So if we now ls, which is basically list everything, it will show us programming, and these are not exactly here. These are might be some Windows WSL stuff. It comes like this one. I don't really know. It's not actually here. Okay, so let's go. And these are also links. Programming, using, and hello world. Yeah. And if you want to see the contents of a file, we type in cat main. So cat is basically saying, okay, you take this file and read the contents and list it out right here. So whatever is here, it's being listed out right here. This is what cat does. We can also use cat to create new files. Maybe that's topic for another day. So, okay, now, okay, this is fine. Hello world is fine. Let's say we want to come back to programming from inside hello world. So there is no back command. There is nothing like if you are here in a GUI editor, you would basically back, but there is no back command. Instead, what we do is we change into dot dot. There is a special directory called dot dot, which is present inside every directory. So this dot dot like basically means the parent directory. So when you move into parent directory, you basically come out of the parent directory. So now if you see, we are out of hello world and into programming. Now if we ls here, we will see hello world being shown here. Similarly, we can obviously ls dot dot, and you can see there this slash. This is different in Unix. We use forward slash for everything, and in Linux, in Windows, you can see this is backslash being used. The reason for this is backslash has a special meaning in programming, and since Unix uh, and Linux is based on Unix, and Linux actually is more in tune with the machine which in turn makes it more in tune with the developer, or programmer. So that's why we in Linux we don't use this as a separator for directory separator one. Instead, we use a forward slash. So if you want to say come out of programming, but also come out of documents, like come till here. So we say dot slash come to the go to the parent sorry, not ls cd, go to the parent directory, and inside it, let's go to that the parent directory of that directory. So parent's parent, grandparent basically. So we should come up to here. Cd dot slash dot, and you can see mm, we are here now. If you see ls, documents is right here. So this is how you travel around with CD. Uh, the equivalent of going to documents, going chat programming, hello world. Okay, this is not it. We need to come back, come back. This one. This is how you move around with this one. So if you, of course we can like we go to documents, then programming, then hello world. But similarly, what we need to do is we go documents, then programming, then hello world. And if you want to come back, it's dot dot dot. We are back in repository, the home directory basically. But obviously, since we know the whole path, which is documents, then programming, then hello world, we can directly type it in one go. Documents. Inside documents, there is a programming directory, and inside that programming directory, there is a hello world directory. So if we type in this one, we go from the home directory to hello world. So if you have to know the exact path, you can actually go there because the Linux doesn't care whether you type it in all at once or you type it one by one. And similarly, if you want to go back and then go back and then go back, you can directly change this string together. So go to the parent directory, inside the parent directory, go to each parent directory, then inside that, go to each parent directory again. So we directly come back to where we are. So cd or change directory, ls for listing the contents of a particular directory, cd and ls. Together, these two actually combines the moving around part of this one. So if you want to go to download, you can go to cd downloads, and if you see ls, you will see there's a Firefox installer.exe, this one, desktop.ini. This one, leave it here for now. I don't actually really know what it is. Yeah, it looks like it's something related to WSL. I don't really know what it is, but in actual Linux system, you do not see this file. Great. Now, reiterating what we learned, if you want to clear the screen, you can type in clear or directly hit Control L. Then, obviously, we learned about CD. You can come back to a parent directory using dot dot, and you can change these directories together.